Namaste, darlings. Namaste. What a wonderful, wonderful energy. How sweet. How candy apple it is. Yes, it is so delightful to be in this present moment. For there will never be another present moment just like this, ever again. This unique moment of your divinity is uniquely embroidered, embedded, gilded into your frequency for such a time as now. As you define who you are within the very elements of time, the elements of space, of all that surrounds you, literally, if we may say, peeling back from you everything you have ever held fast to, everything that you have put an iota of confidence in, that which has sustained you or kept you comfortable in the knowledge of this must be because I can prove it this way, or I have heard it that way, or whatever your excuses for keeping that as a mooring to the side of the river, to the harbor. Let it go. Darlings, let it go. And begin to explore within yourselves the divine river of life, the divine essence of being. My dear friend, has taught you, has been communicating to you to go into the very depth of that which is the I am. And yet we say together it is beyond the I am, it is beyond the divine, it is the connective elements, it is the very fabric of life itself, the breath within yourself that as you take and participate in the collective knowing, it is that quiet. It is the steel, the solidity and the membrane of the knowledge that you are in this frequency for a fulfillment of purpose. Oh, the I am that I am, the divine center of you is a unique and vibratory place that none can touch and only you can discover. Not even I, Kuthumi, am able to take you into it. I can lead you to the Ganges. I can encourage you, as I have done many times, to sit within the flow of the holy river of the Ganges and allow the energy to flow in you, around you, through you, clearing, cleansing, and washing. But I cannot keep you there. That is your choice. And just like the Ganges is infiltrated and polluted by humanity and its attempts to attain purity, in its attempts to attain salvation, in its attempts to attain the most highest standing of holiness, so it removes from itself and empties into the river the dirge and the uncleanliness and the deadness of itself. And yet, no matter how many times humanity comes in to clear itself, humanity does not clear. It remains claggy. It remains obtuse. It remains distracted. So what is the clue? What is the key for humanity to come into a place of peace, of restoration, of allowing oneself to pass through the dilemmas and the conflicts of the heart and the mind? How do we unravel ourselves and pull ourselves out of this paradigm, out of this timeline, out of this weariness of heart, without having to go in constantly? Oh, here I go again, in. Who, why, what? They keep asking me to do the same thing time again. Can they not just give me the answers? Please, universe, the answers are very pleasingly received. No. No, we cannot do that. But we can continue to encourage you to anchor yourself in the flow of energy, to anchor yourself in the construct of the heartbeat. Not just your heartbeat, but the heartbeat of Gaia, of the universe. That you are merged in the Trinity, in that triune arrangement of the tri-heartbeat, of the heartbeat of your own energy, of Gaia and the universe. That you begin to feel that which is the life-giving energy, and within this there are the multitude of answers, solutions. Remember, we have said, if the question arises, it is because the answer is already there. Do not limit yourselves by saying you cannot see who you are. You cannot feel beyond what is there. You only know this much. For these are distractions of the energy to keep you in a place of single-mindedness, of smallness. Do not limit yourself to say, no, but I have been told I am this or I am that. I have had this and I have had that experience, and I have been this and I have been that, and all the rest of it. That matters not as you discover the holy part of you. For that holy part that is set aside, sacred unto yourself. My darlings, only you know how to access this. And if you cannot access it, if you have not yet found the key, if you have not yet found the way into that which is the holy place of your heart, if you have not yet managed to persevere and enter in through the bramble bushes and through that which is the snake viper pits, if you have not yet been able to play the tune that opens the doorway to the sacred part of the heart, then my darlings, you must continue. You must continue. For I cannot put anything in your hands or in your way that will open it up. No, I cannot. I can just encourage you to tell you that there is but a way of light, a way of truth, a way of perseverance. You must stay within that which is the flow of the Ganges, of the holy river. If you do not like the Ganges, do not worry, for it is but the terminology of the river of life that passes through at a universal touch. It is a holy connection. You must begin to understand that there is beyond the words of the human mouth. Yes, you must begin to look beyond the teachings of the actual structure of the word, for there is the vibrational point. When we come to communicate to you, yes, we speak in the words and the wisdom of man, but we speak to you in the energy of the divine. And it is the energy of the divine that will begin to show you the very tune that you begin to go in and penetrate into the sanctum. This is the sanctuary of who you are. Forget the chakras, the vortices. It is nothing to do with it. We are talking of the divine, the central part of that which is beyond the concept of man's ideas, of what the soul is, of what the heart is, of what the spirit is. This is a connection beyond words. It is visual. It is sensory. It is metaphysical, and yet it is very, very solid. Because when you begin to define what it is for you and you unlock that part, my darlings, you will begin to see it is not just what your mind tells you and what you think your heart is telling you, but all of a sudden it begins to blossom within your own chest, in your own abdomen, in that which is within you, like not just the lotus flower, but the most beautiful vine of truth, like the oak tree, like the kauri tree, like the baobab tree. All of these solidities, these visualizations. It is not pretty like a rose. It is not delicate like the lotus flower. It is solid. It is not always pretty. It is not always beautiful. But it is you. And if you can remember in the very past of that, which is the journeys that we have taken you on, we have taken you into the inner sanctum, where we have asked you to look upon the mirror within yourself, that you begin to take in the very concept of your higher self, the blueprint of who you are. Go yet beyond this. For the divine center of you, that which is within you, that which is the sacred of the sanctum within, the holy of holies within you, the untouchable, but by your hands and by the divine. This is the only way that you will be able to intercede for your own growth, to connect into that which is for yourselves. Otherwise, you will continue to be caught up in the spectrum of thought that tells you, oh, I have learned this concept and this modality and that modality, and that is all I am. No, you are more than this. You are energy. My darlings, you are energy. And beyond the energy, you are thought. Beyond the thought, you are unction. Beyond the unction, you are. And it is in this place of knowing, this deepest of deepest places, that you begin to see the creational power that is within you. And many of you have begun to rip and slice away at the tendrils of the hedging and the thorns and the bushes and the brambles that have kept you from this most sacred place. And you are wounded and you are scratched, tired even, almost despondent, because you believe that you have done what you can do, but how can you reach this most innermost part? Perseverance. Have faith in yourselves, darlings. It is not one to easily give up. If you but knew that there was one cure for every fallacy, every fatal illness, every lie, every degenerate thing in this world, if you could find and you knew that there was one cure, and if you persevered enough to break through the door, that cure would be there for you to take and to empty upon the world and cure it of its ills, would you give up? No. Because you would see, logically, if I continue, then there is a greater outcome. But because we do not say to you, oh, there is this great reward for you, we just say, go in, go in, go in, go in. Forget what is going on around you. Forget all of this. We will discuss this. We will come into the very quietness of that which is all around you. And we will begin to introduce you to the very frequencies of change that are occurring. But before we can bridge this together, before we can knit these parts in, and before we can assist you to cross over into the new energy that is coming, this new placement of being, you must discover who you are in the inner sanctum. Now it is not, and I believe my friend, my dear beloved Safita, has finally cracked through his stuffed shirt. And he has begun to tap into his I am. And has begun to tap into the divinity of divinities within himself. And he is beginning to show you the vibration of what he is communicating, to identify with you. It is not a mental ascension. When you go through mental ascension, you are scattered to the four corners of the multiverse and you return back to the point of reference to redo. So do not ascend mentally. Do not think that you have everything you need mentally. Put the mental realm aside, my darlings. How many times do we need to say this? Do not try and work it out. Do not emotionally try to understand what is happening to you. Do not try and quantify it in an emotional realm. You cannot. If you try to ascend to this emotionally, you will too be scattered to the four corners of the multiverse and return to the point of reference to redo it. Do not try to emotionally comprehend. Oh, you will feel the emotions, and that is good, but do not try to analyze them. Just allow them. What you are digging into, what you are uprooting, has been hidden within humanity, within individuals for many, many epochs. We are asking you to go beyond the times of your lives. We are asking you to delve into an area that you have forgotten to delve into. This is some of your original DNA, your Terran DNA, of that which was your first incarnation. If you would but listen to the messages, they are not worldly, they are not, shall we say, great miraculous teachings. They are simplistic, one-syllable, two-syllable words, feelings. It is the gut of all gut feelings. It is a sense, a smell, an intuitive knowing that far exceeds any intuitive knowing you have had before, to the point where you would think there is somebody else in the room directing your thoughts. No, it is you. It is you in the purest form that you could be. But because you do not know how to trust this or know this, you ignore it. You are fearful of it. And that is good. Yes, I said it is good to be fearful of what you do not know. Because when you go then further in, you cautiously tiptoe in, you cautiously go where the angelics fear to tread. You cautiously tiptoe into that which is the very spectrum of heart, of vibration, within the very central DNA vibration, within the very particle of life-giving energy within you. You are delving into the very minuscule section of your physiology. Not just at a cellular level or a particle level. You are going into the light and the sound vibration of your beingness. It does not exist anywhere else except within your mitochondria. This is where the I am resonates. This is where it is. So we could say, clasp your left knee and go, I am that I am. Who am I? And you would get the exact same result as if you concentrate your energy to your chest. So why do we direct you to the chest area? Why? Because, my dears, humanity for so long has centered that everything is around their heart space. Everything is around this particular area because it is the central place. It is where the heart pumps. It is where the chest breathes. It is where babies are nourished. It is the life center of the human being. And so it makes sense to their logical mind. This is where the soul, this I am, the spirit resides. But we would say even the ancients will teach you that your spirit resides in your belly, in the lower nether regions, not the heart. The heart is the emotive. The heart is that which you feel with, the spirit, that which directs you. Your unction is in the very belly, which is why we breathe past the heart, through the diaphragm, into the belly. Where is the belly? The belly sits above the groin, below the diaphragm. It is the entirety of that rather large organ called digestive system. The belly is not your stomach. No, 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 no. That is just a minuscule part. Your gut area, your belly area, is where the I am resides. It is in this place that you feel, that you see, that you resonate. My darlings, beyond time, beyond moment, beyond life, beyond death, beyond breath, there is the I am, that I am, that I am. And the divine I am has invited you to join it in the totality of being. Imagine. And this is where confusion comes. For many people will say, but this sounds like religion. I am that I am, the God, the coming together, etc., etc. No, 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 listen. The divine I am invites you in your I am to co-join with it. Not through an intermediary. It asks you to accept the I am as part of who you are, for you are the I am. It is in you, you are in it, you are conjoined. Think of it for simplistic terms. We are one, but you aren't. But we will use it for the example, yes? And I am not speaking against the oneness teaching that is going all around. We will get to that another time. But at this stage of the game, you say, oh, I am one with Gaia, I'm one with the universe. Well, are you one with yourself? Because, my darlings, if you are not, then you are not. It is time to come back into the very central breath, to go into the very innermost part, into the inner sanctum. Let me give you a graphic detail. When the Japanese warrior takes his sword and commits harikari, that is a play on words, by the way. When he takes his sword and he does the kamikaze cut, yes? Where he goes in, there is no return. He punches where? Into the diaphragm. He pulls down. He then twists and cuts. Why? He is cutting the diaphragm, puncturing the stomach and the gut. There is no return. It is a death now. If he punched through the heart, he may survive. Why? Because if the weapon remains intact, is not moved, you can be rushed to a hospital and then have surgically removed, even in their time. Their surgeons were well adept at saving lives. But when you rip and rip and rip, you are going into the inner sanctum, the belly, the creative part, the life-giving area. And there is no return until you reincarnate. My darlings, it is time to know that when we ask you to identify that innermost part of you, we are not playing, we are not teasing, we are not cajoling. We are in a time of great change. This energy at this moment has never truly been this dense and this fluid. Not since, partially since your millennium. There is an event occurring, and if you are not prepared for it, then you will miss it. Or you will be dragged along with it and not fully be in control of what is occurring in your life. This is not a threat. It is not a now you must behave or else. It is the basic factual truth. In this time, it's time to activate your belief. It's time to activate your truth. It is time to activate that which you stand on. My darlings, it is no good me saying to you, let us go to the Ganges. Let us allow the river of life to wash us and to clear us and to cleanse us, to come back and stand on the banks of the Ganges and go, oh, that was so refreshing, so good. Now what do I do? No. We must activate. We must begin to act and to live, to bring in the physicalities that which we have in our imaginations. We need to bring to life the truths of that which is in our beingness. We need to live in accordance to that which is our truth. We need to bridge this world. We need to leave behind that which is, shall we say, detrimental, by not ignoring it, by admitting that there is this life that we no longer wish to be entertained by. And it may mean that you literally detox from it. You literally cut the ties and you elevate, you move, you take yourself out of that lively place and you plant yourself in a new lively place. Kuthumi, do you mean I have to move to another world? Another place? Another? Yes and no. You need to move in an energetic space. You need to move in a spiritual place. You need to move from the place of the I am, the inner sanctum. But you cannot do it unless you know who you are. For if you are challenged, you will falter. But in this, you will begin to be challenged. You will begin to be challenged not by the outside world, although sometimes that may happen, but more often not by your inner workings. In other words, areas where you have in the I am experienced an experience and it has left a mark upon you. It has left a terror upon you. You will respond to that until you heal it. And we are not talking aspects and imprints. We are talking actual events that occurred in your lifetimes that have been ignored, pushed down, suppressed. This is going beyond aspect integration. This is going beyond imprints. It's going beyond all of the small pockets of information that you have learnt thus far. And if you have not learnt thus far, it is high time that you did. For when we begin to bring through the new teachings, which will be coming shortly, very much sooner than some of you think, you must have an idea of who you are, of the foundation that you stand. We are not going to lead you into a place of desolation, nor are we going to lead you into a place of great, shall we say, abundance. Desolation, abundance. What we are doing is we are going to lead you in a place of choice. And we are not going to talk to you on the geopolitical, and we're not going to talk to you on this or that, but it is life and the giving of choice and the giving of truth. For you are you are the pendulum. You are the pendulum that swings. And you must learn to come into the very center place of your being. It is like when we move within the energy, as you begin to flow, as you begin to take in and to expand, as you begin within the very essence of what it is that you know is your vibrational truth. As you begin to flow and dance within yourself the very vibration that brings you to the very essence of knowing that you are within the very truth, the divine centered being. When you can look at Krishna, when you can look at Buddha, when you can look at Jesus, when you can look at God, when you can look at whoever it is that you have, the divine centered being of light, of life, and you can see that as you flow within this, as you see yourself dancing, if Kali comes before you, will you stand or will you fall? Where is your balance? The birthing or the distraction? You see, when you come and you find that which is the very essence of yourselves, you cannot deny who you are. Do not use, and we are speaking to this one, but if it fits your cap, then you may wear it. Do not use tiredness, lack of sleep, ill health, uncomfortable this, whatever, as an excuse to dodge dealing with certain things. Do not use excuses. These excuses will be around you for the rest of your life if you do. But when you can return into that which is the very central place, and you learn from that place to blossom, then no longer will lack of sleep be an issue. No longer will tiredness be an issue. No longer will any of these other points and references be an issue. But what will become is solution, strength, vitality. This is not a rap on the knuckles. It is advice. It is guidance. How do you go into that place, into the bud, into the seed? You do this by withdrawing and seeking the true center. When the mind begins to wander, allow it to wander, then bring it back and say, now, have you finished? Let us focus. Have you finished? Let us focus. My darlings, do not ever doubt that I have forgotten you. I may flit in and flit out, but I have such love for you, for those that I am speaking to at this moment and the whole of humanity. But I am here at all times, watching and observing, knowing that you are in a great flux of change, and seeing at the same time the great lattice of the bridge work that is being built around you, and you are unobservant to it, makes me concerned. For you are too focused on the negative things that you are forgetting to focus on the positive. Yes, there is negative. Yes, there are things occurring around you that are very unpleasant and, shall we say, very distracting and soul-destroying. Yes, we agree. But if you allow yourself to be focused on this totally, looking for a solution, you will miss the solution. You must be aware of it. We agree. We, all of that which is in the universal scholastic halls, agree. You must be aware. But you must also be aware of the positive. Just like a battery has two sides. So you must be aware that there are two sides at play here. And if you are so focused on the negative growth and what is occurring there that you miss the positive bridging, then my friend, you are going to miss something that is so fantastical in this time for yourselves personally. But it will be what it will be. When is this going to happen, Kuthumi? When it happens. It is beginning. It is growing. It is needing those who are in their power. It is needing those grounded, solidified, focused on the journey ahead. The realization that they can sit in the Ganges and still function in the liveliness, in the holiness, in the inner sanctumness of their being, while feeling the flow of the universal holy river flowing through them. But if you shut that off because you do not know how to access it, or you are too distracted by the mental ascension and the emotional ascension of what you think is the divine, then you will miss it too. Now, some of you have begun to go deep, much deeper than you've ever done before, and I want to encourage you to keep doing this. Because as you keep doing this and unwrapping and unlocking, you will begin to see that there is a very small part that you have never seen before. And yet when you begin to tap into it, it becomes much bigger than what you thought. And then soon it will come to the point where it is totally engulfed you, and you say, but how can this small pea have suddenly become a world around me? And you will begin to see that it has always been around you, but you've only just noticed it because you were focusing the energy. So my beloved ones, I hope that you have enjoyed this conversation. I hope that you have taken to heart what I have begun to share with you. Do not fear. This is not a time of fear, please. It is a time of choice. It is a time of knowing who you are and the strength of that which is. It is a time of definitiveness. It is a time where you begin to stand and you begin to take a mark on the ground. Often we have said to you, draw a line in the sand and stay. This is where it is. This is my mark. This is from what I will do now. But you have to make the choice of what that mark is. You have to decide where you will stand and what you will stand for and what you will stand against. And once you make the choice, you must do that. This is the time, absolutely. But once you've done that, now know that you've done it and focus on what is to come next. What is it that you are building? What is it that you are growing? What is it that you are establishing? Do not remain focused on what is behind the mark, because that will take you backwards. Yes, there are many things in the back that knowledge will help you to go forward. And yes, there are still many things as you walk forward that will reveal themselves, and you'll go, oh my God, but this is belonging to that part, what is behind me. Draw another line and step over it and say that belongs in the past. I now focus on the future. And in this present moment, remember, this present moment is here for you. And it will never, ever be experienced again. It is divinely integrated into you. How you use it is your choice. And that is what we have to say on that. And I am that I am. I am Kuthumi. I am divinely Kuthumi. And I am Kuthumi. Namaste. Namaste. Namaste.